So if you guys are looking to finance a new car or a used car pretty soon, whether it's now or in a couple months, I'm gonna be showing you guys exactly how you guys can do this, even if your credit score isn't all that good, while putting no money down. Now, when I was in my early 20s, I've made the mistake of putting money down on multiple cars that I financed throughout my life when it wasn't necessary to, all because I simply lacked the information that I'm gonna be telling you guys in this video. In this video, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be showing you guys a few different lenders out there with pretty good interest rates that will let you get a car loan with them, even if you have a bad credit score, while putting no money down if you get approved for the total amount of what that vehicle is worth. Now, if you're a person who is new to credit and really don't know anything about financing cars, I'm also briefly going to be going over how to build your credit profile correctly over the course of the next 3 to 6 months, so that way you guys can get the dream car you've always wanted. Now, it's really not that hard to finance a new or used car as many people out there think it is. It's actually, in fact, really easy, and most of you should be able to get this loan within the next 24 to 72 hours. So if you guys want to know what lenders out there will give you an auto loan with them without putting any money down while having a bad credit score too at the same time, while still receiving a pretty decent interest rate, then make sure to watch this video all the way to the end, so that way you, sir or ma'am, do not miss out on any good financial information that can help you out. If you're already subscribed, then welcome back. But if you guys are new to my channel, my name is Ismael Sandiford, and you are now watching Just Money, where we talk about financial related topics such as personal and business credit, real estate, and other financial related topics. So if that's something you're into, then you're probably going to want to consider subscribing. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So when it comes to getting an auto loan, ladies and gentlemen, the problem that I keep seeing time and time again is that a lot of people out there really don't have the money to put down for a car, and then also too, at the same time, they think their credit score isn't high enough. If the majority of people out there knew about credit unions and how they work versus other lenders or financial institutions out there, I guarantee you most people out there would not have a problem getting a car. It's just the thing about getting an auto loan with a credit union versus different lenders out there is that they have way less stricter guidelines, which makes you have a better chance at getting approved for the car that you guys are looking for. You guys can have a credit score of 600 or even in the high 500s, and yes, I said high 500s, and still get approved for an auto loan with a credit union while putting no money down. The reason why you guys can still finance a car with a credit union while having a bad credit score is because credit unions typically like to look at your overall credit profile and other factors as well, not only just your credit score. They like to look at your overall credit profile and other factors, but also on top too, auto loans, ladies and gentlemen, those are secured loans. Those are not unsecured loans. So in other words, these credit unions or lenders are going to be using your car as collateral, so they're willing to lend you the money, because if you guys default on the loan for whatever reason, they can always get their car back and just sell it to make their money back. That's why it's so easy to get approved for an auto loan, even if your credit score isn't all that, and I don't think too many people out there understand this. Now, obviously, the better credit score you guys have, then the better interest rate you guys are going to have as well, but just based off the simple fact that you guys can actually get an auto loan while having a bad credit score while putting no money down is still amazing. Now, before I go over who these 4 credit unions are, let's go over one big thing you guys can do to boost your credit basically overnight, so that way you guys can have higher approval odds and even a better interest rate as well. And then after I go over that, I'm quickly going to touch on 2 ways you guys can start building credit if you guys are new to building credit, or if you're a brand new adult just now starting your credit journey. And then we'll go over who these 4 credit unions are. So a thing you guys can do to boost your credit in a very short amount of time is getting added as an authorized user. For those out there that don't know what an authorized user is, it's pretty much someone who is being added to a credit card account by the primary card holder. By getting added as an authorized user on somebody's credit who has good credit, this can significantly boost your credit score in a very short amount of time. The reason why I say this is because whenever you guys get added as an authorized user, their credit history will now become your credit history. So if they have an on-time payment history of 6 years, then you will now have an on-time payment history of 6 years as well, which is good because 35% of your credit score actually comes from your payment history. And the more on-time payments that you guys have on your belt, then the higher your credit score is going to go. But if they also have a pretty decent limit on that credit card with a low usage, like under 10%, then that's also going to help your score, because 30% of your credit score comes from your credit utilization ratio. So if they have a low usage on the card and they also have a long payment history and they also had that credit card account for a while now, which is going to account for length of credit history, which is 15%, that's about 80% of what your credit score is made out of. So this is why I always say, if you guys are looking to boost your credit score in a very short amount of time, you guys have to get added as an authorized user. I don't care what anybody says. I remember years ago, I added one of my friends as an authorized user on one of my Chase credit cards that I had for a while, which had a good payment history, a high credit limit. And when I did that, he literally jumped up from a 597 to like a 676 in a very short amount of time. So if you guys can help somebody pick up their credit score a little bit, at least up until they get approved for that thing they're trying to get approved for, then why not help them? Whenever you guys add someone as an authorized user on one of your credit card accounts, this will not affect you in any way, shape, or form. It really only affects the person that you're adding if you guys are running up the credit card that you added them onto, because now your history is going to reflect on them as well, not only just you. But the point of getting added as an authorized user is so that way your credit score could jump up in a short amount of time, so that way you can use your score to now get approved for that auto loan you're trying to get approved for, because you really only need fair credit. You don't even need good credit. All we're trying to do here is get them approved for that auto loan and then also get them a pretty decent interest rate as well, versus getting a bad interest rate. What a lot of people out there tend to do is just add somebody as an authorized user on their account for 30 days so that way they can get approved for whatever item they're trying to get approved for, and then just take them off after that, and then boom, nothing ever happened. You help somebody. So for my people out there who have a bad credit score or bad credit profile, what I highly recommend you guys do is search for a close friend or family member that is more than happy to add you as an authorized user on one of their good credit card accounts. Now, for those of you guys out there that do not have anybody that is willing to add you as an authorized user on one of their credit card accounts, there's actually trade lines out there that you guys can actually purchase. You guys can actually pay somebody to add you as an authorized user on one of their credit card accounts for a specific amount of time, so that way you guys can temporarily boost your credit score and get that approval and that better interest rate. Now, I know it seems crazy paying to get added as an authorized user, but sometimes you guys got to do what you guys got to do, and if paying somebody is going to help you get that approval that you guys need with that better interest rate, then by all means, that's what you guys got to do. Now, the first trade line company you guys can go to so that way you guys can get that trade line on your credit report, aka authorized user, is called Boost Credit 101. You guys can buy trade lines there with specific limits and age history that will temporarily boost your credit score so that way you guys can get approved for whatever you guys need to get approved for. Now, you do have to pay to play, so these are going to average anywhere from a few $100s to a little over $1,000 to have the trade line on your credit report for a month. Now, the second trade line company is going to be called Coast Trade Lines, which pretty much does the same thing, and then the third company is going to be called Trade Line Supply Company, which is honestly the one that I would recommend you guys go with. Now, I'm not going to dive in too much about this in this video because I actually plan on making a full in-depth video on this, but if you guys do not have anybody out there who can add you as an authorized user on one of their credit card accounts, then these are the websites you guys need to go to and get the trade line from. Some people are going to be lucky to where they have somebody that can add them as an authorized user, and some of you guys might not be so lucky, so just work with what you got and try to make the best out of it. Okay, so now that we're done talking about authorized users and trade lines, let's quickly go over 2 ways you guys can start building credit from scratch so that way you guys can get approved for that auto loan one day. So if you're a person that's new to credit and don't have any credit established, I would highly recommend to start with a secure credit card and a secure savings loan from a credit union. And really, I would get these 2 products from a credit union that you guys are getting the auto loan with, because by doing this is going to help you build a better relationship with this credit union. For those out there that don't know, credit unions tend to be relationship based when it comes to getting you approved for whatever it is you're trying to get approved for. So the better relationship that you have with a credit union, then the more they will do for you. The way you build a relationship with a credit union is by using them as your primary bank, setting up direct deposits, and even getting little products with them such as secure credit cards or secure savings loans. For those out there that don't know what a secure credit card is, this is pretty much a credit card to where you have to put an initial refundable security deposit down, and whatever deposit you put down will then become your credit limit amount. So if you guys were to put $500 as a security deposit, then those same $500 will then become your credit limit amount, and then ideally you will use the credit card for the next 6 months while making on-time payments, and if you guys are responsible with your card, then your credit score should rise. And then as far as getting a secure savings loan, this is pretty much an installment loan that is backed by your savings, and pretty much what you do with this is just make monthly payments on it every month while it gets reported to the 3 major credit bureaus. So by getting a secure credit card and a secure savings loan, this is going to help boost your credit and establish your credit profile a little more, because you need both revolving credit, which is credit cards, and then installment credit, which is installment loans. So by getting these 2 products, besides getting added as an authorized user, is definitely going to help boost your credit score significantly, so that way you guys can get approved for that auto loan you're trying to get. And again, you guys want to get that secure credit card and that secure savings loan with a credit union, so that way you guys can build a better relationship with them. If you guys have a better relationship with them, then you're one step closer to getting approved for that auto loan that you guys are trying to get. But now let's talk a little bit more about these credit unions that you guys are trying to get the auto loan from, and then I'll name what 4 credit unions you guys should be getting your auto loan with. So for those of you guys out there that don't know what a credit union is, it's pretty much a not-for-profit financial institution that looks out for its members versus trying to make another dollar off of you, unlike Chase or Wells Fargo. The thing that's so good about credit unions versus actual big banks out there is that you're going to receive better interest rates, higher limits on your credit cards, higher loan amount approvals, and then you'll actually get approved for loans out there, whether it's personal loans, auto loans, personal lines of credit, whatever it is. You'll have a better chance at getting approved with them because they're more lenient with their credit scores. They're more lenient with these things because they genuinely want to help whoever banks with them out. That's basically their duty to the world. They're not looking to make a significant amount of money off a lot of people out there. That's why I'm always talking about credit unions on my channel, because they just do so much for you versus a traditional bank. So if you guys are new here and you guys want to learn more about credit unions, then there's plenty of videos on my channel, so feel free to browse around. But when it comes to credit unions and their approvals for most of their loans out there, including auto loans, credit scores, they do play a huge role, but it's not the whole entire role. Whenever credit unions are determining your eligibility for an auto loan, they're going to take a look at your debt to income ratio. So in other words, what debt do you guys have right now, so that way you guys can take care of another payment. And then they'll also look at the relationship that you have with them, along with your credit profile, credit score, job history, income, and what do you pay for rent or mortgage every month. So that's why I'm saying, if you guys have good income, but you've been at your job for a while, and you have good income coming in, and you don't have too much debt, plus you've been banking with the credit union for a while, they're definitely going to approve you because you have other things that's going for you. But now that you guys know a little bit more about this now, let's go over the 4 credit credit unions that will let you get an auto loan with them while putting no money down while having a bad credit score. So the first credit union we're going to be talking about is called PenFed Credit Union. This is going to be the third biggest credit union in America, and they actually have amazing interest rates when it comes to their auto loans, even better than Navy Federal Credit Union. Any one of you guys out there can start banking with this credit union. It's not going to be restricted like how Navy Federal Credit Union is, so I would recommend to start building a relationship with them if you guys haven't yet already. Now, you guys don't need a relationship in order to apply for an auto loan with PenFed. You guys can actually apply for the auto loan right away once you guys start banking with them, but it is better to have a 3-month relationship with them before you guys go ahead and apply for that auto loan. I would wait 3 months if your credit really isn't the best, but if you guys have a decent credit profile and everything else is up to par, then I would go ahead and apply immediately if you really need the car now. The good thing about PenFed Credit Union versus other banks out there is that you can actually pre-qualify for the car with only a soft pull to your credit. So you can go ahead and put your information in, and based on what you put, PenFed will actually let you know whether you got approved or not. And then another good thing about PenFed is that their loan amounts actually go all the way up to $150,000. Other lenders out there usually only tend to do $100,000 or $125,000. So the fact that PenFed is doing $150,000 is actually really cool. If you guys look at the rates that PenFed has for their auto loans and you guys compare them to Navy Federal, then you're quickly going to notice PenFed rates are actually better than Navy Federal Credit Union. If you guys look right here, if you're buying a new car and you finance it for 36 months, the lowest interest rate you will possibly receive is going to be a 3.79%. And then if we do the same 36 months on a new vehicle with Navy Federal, your interest rate is going to be a 4.09%, which is obviously higher. Now, it's not like a crazy significant difference, but all I'm saying is that PenFed does have better interest rates than Navy Federal Credit Union, even when it comes to their used cars as well. Because if you guys were to look right here, if you were to get a loan term for 36 months on a used car, your interest rate is going to be a 4.64% at the time of this recording. And then if we do a 36-month loan term on a used car with Navy Federal, your interest rate is going to be 4.99%, which is again not too much, but it is a little higher though. Now, one thing I do want to tell you guys about PenFed and their auto loans is that sometimes they will request documentation, but sometimes on the other hand they won't. Most likely, if you guys have a good relationship with PenFed, like you guys have deposits coming in and you're using them as your primary bank, then for the most part they're not going to verify your income. I really only see them verify your income if you guys have like no relationship with them at all whatsoever. Now, there is no minimum credit score requirement in order to get an auto loan with PenFed, but as I mentioned earlier, as long as you guys have a decent credit profile and all the stuff lines up with your job, then you guys should be able to get approved. And just so you guys know, you do not need to put a down payment in order to get an auto loan with PenFed, although you do have the choice to if you want a lower monthly payment. PenFed actually has a calculator on their website to where they would tell you exactly what your monthly payment would be depending on the interest rate you have and how long you want the loan term to be. So if you were to do a loan term for 36 months at a 3.79% interest rate and the vehicle you were trying to purchase was $30,000 and you're putting nothing down, then your monthly payment would roughly be $883. And again, you guys can use a pre-qualification tool if you guys are looking to get approved with only a soft pull, but if you do choose to proceed, then it is going to be a hard pull on your Equifax credit report, but sometimes they can pull from your Experian as well. Once you guys are approved for this auto loan, PenFed will then mail you the check, so that way you can take that check to the dealer or whatever seller you're buying it from. I actually made a full in-depth video on how to get an auto loan with PenFed, so if you guys are interested in watching that, then feel free to browse my YouTube channel or hit the link in the description below. Now, the second credit union that you guys can go to for an auto loan that we actually just talked about is going to be Navy Federal Credit Union, which is going to be a personal favorite. I actually currently have 2 auto loans with Navy Federal, and these were by far the easiest auto loans I've ever gotten in my life. Now, you do have to be banking with Navy Federal in order to get an auto loan with them, but the good thing about Navy Federal that a lot of people out there like is that 9 times out of 10 they will not verify your income. And this right here is the main reason why everybody wants to bank with Navy Federal, because it's just so easy to get an auto loan with them. I mean, there are other reasons as well, but this is like one of the biggest reasons right here. Based on my personal experience and from what I've seen, I would say 9 out of 10 people usually get approved for their auto loan with Navy Federal. The only hard part about getting an auto loan with them is actually banking with them. In order to start banking with this credit union, you either have to be in the military, associated with the military, be a family member of someone who is in the military, or live with somebody who already banks with Navy Federal. And then also too, if you guys have an immediate family member who already banks with Navy Federal, then that right there is going to make you eligible as well. And when I say family member, I'm talking like mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, sister, brother. Those are the only things. But anyways, once you guys start banking with them, this is literally the easiest place and probably the only place that you guys should be getting an auto loan from. They also do 100% financing, so you don't have to put any money down. And they're actually lenient on the credit score stuff as well, so you don't need to have a really good credit score to get approved with them. I've seen people in the low 600s and even the high 500s still get approved for an auto loan with Navy Federal. All you guys need to do is build a relationship with them for at least 90 days if you guys have a bad credit score, and that right there is significantly going to boost your chances to getting approved for an auto loan with them. Navy Federal also has a calculator on their website, so if we were to do the same $30,000 for 36 months that we did with PenFed, except with a Navy Federal interest rate, then your estimated monthly payment payment is going to be $887, which is $4 more than what PenFed is offering us, which isn't too big of a difference. Now, if you guys are in the military, then you guys are going to have exclusive military discounts that nobody else has. But another thing I do want to point out, though, is that Navy Federal will be pulling for your TransUnion credit report for this auto loan. And once you guys are pre-approved for an auto loan with them, that check is going to be good up to 90 days. So you guys would have 90 days from the day that you got approved for your auto loan to find a car. I actually made a full in-depth video on how to get an auto loan with Navy Federal step by step. So if you guys are interested in watching that, then feel free to browse my YouTube channel or hit the link in the description below. And also really quick, if you guys are finding any of this information helpful, if you guys can do me a favor and hit the like button, I would truly appreciate it because it really helps me out a lot, and then it's also a dope way to help support the channel. Now, the next credit union that you guys can get an auto loan from without putting any money down and having a low credit score 2 on top is going to be Langley Federal Credit Union. Anybody out there can start banking with this credit union, and the good thing about this credit union is you don't need a good credit score in order to get approved for an auto loan with them. You can be in the low 6s or even in the high 5s and still get approved for an auto loan with them. One thing I will say about this credit union though is if you guys have a credit score below 600, like in the high 5s, then they will only give you an auto loan amount up to $15,000 and nothing more than that. When it comes to getting approved for an auto loan though with this credit union, it's pretty much going to be the same as the rest of the credit unions, where they look at your payment history, DTI, where you work at, how much do you pay in rent or mortgage every month, what your income level is at, etc. So if all of those things are intact, then they're not going to be too big on what your credit score is, although again, it does play a factor. Now, when it comes to this credit union, ladies and gentlemen, they are going to be pulling from your Equifax credit report, and the time it takes to get approved for an auto loan with these guys is going to be anywhere from 48 to 72 hours. The lowest rate you can absolutely get with this credit union is going to be a 4.99% if you guys are doing a term of 12 to 36 months, but you have to have a credit score of at least 780 and above to get that rate. Now, you'll still be able to get an auto loan with them, but if you guys want the best rate as possible, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, you guys are going to have a better credit score, and that pretty much goes for any kind of loan you get in life. But if you're just looking to get approved for something and you really just need a car and you don't really care about the interest rate, all you really need is fair credit in order to get approved. You don't even need to have good credit. Now, sometimes they are going to ask for proof of income, but sometimes they are not. I feel like if you already have a relationship with them and use them as your primary bank, then they tend to not ask for proof of income. But if you're just new walking in, then that's when they ask for proof of income. So if you guys plan on getting an auto loan with this credit union and you guys have a bad credit score, build a relationship with them first, because that's what you need. Those are the keys. But once you guys get approved for an auto loan with them, they're either going to send the check to the dealership for the car you're trying to get, or you can pick it up at the branch if you want. They will not mail you the check. You will either have to get it sent to the dealership or just pick it up at one of their branches. Once you guys are done buying your car, you guys do have the option of not having a payment for the first 60 days, which can be good, so that way you guys can enjoy your new car without worrying about the payment for a while. Now, moving on to the last lender that will give you an auto loan without putting any money down while having a bad credit score, and the name of this lender is going to be called NASA Federal Credit Union. I made a few videos about this credit union before in the past if you guys want to check that out, but this credit union will also let you get a car without putting any money down while having a bad credit score. Anybody out there can start banking with this credit union as long as you guys are a member of the American Consumer Council, or you have an affiliation with NASA, which I'm sure most of us don't, so you're probably going to have to get in through the American Consumer Council just like I did. I made a video not too long ago showing you guys how you can bank with over 20 plus credit unions in America by signing up with the American Consumer Council for free. So if you guys are interested in watching that or want more information in regards to that, click the link in the description below, or just feel free to browse my YouTube channel, Just Money. But anyways, this credit union does have a higher interest rate than the other credit unions we just talked about. Like when we go to the website, you'll see the lowest APR that they offer is going to be a 5.39%. If you guys are doing 36 months, which isn't too bad, but it's also not the best. Just know the lower term you guys have, then the lower your rate is always going to be, but the higher the term is, then the higher your rate is going to be. The reason why lenders do this is because they're more at risk of you defaulting on the loan, since you're spending way more time trying to pay it off. But one good thing I do want to say about this credit union is that they actually have a check your rate feature. So in other words, you guys can get pre-qualified for a car loan without a hard pull to your credit. It's going to tell you roughly what your rate would be and what they're offering you, and whether you would be approved or not with no hard pull to your credit. Now, if you do choose to proceed with the loan, then it is going to be a hard pull on your Experian credit report. And when it comes to getting an auto loan with this credit union, the max they will ever lend you out for an auto loan is going to be $125,000. Now, from what I've seen personally, I haven't really seen anybody get approved for an auto loan with them with a credit score under 600. But if you guys are in the 600s, like even in the low 600s, then you can still get an auto loan with them. And just like Langley Federal Credit Union we just talked about, NASA Federal Credit Union is going to approve you based off your credit profile, credit score, DTI, payment history, where you work at, what's your income, what do you pay for rent or mortgage, etc. And when it comes to auto loans with NASA Federal Credit Union, they can request proof of income if they feel that they need to. But once you guys have submitted your auto loan application with NASA Federal Credit Union, some people out there do get approved instantly, but if you're not approved instantly, then the turnaround ratio is usually anywhere between 24 to 48 hours. And if they do need additional documentation from you, then they'll go ahead and reach out to you, so that way you can submit your paperwork to get that auto loan you're trying to get. But once you guys are approved for an auto loan with NASA Federal Credit Union, they will either send the check to the dealership once you guys find the car you guys are looking for, or you guys can pick it up in the branch in the DC metropolitan area. Once you guys actually get your car though, for the first 60 days, no payment will be required with this credit union, so this gives you time to actually enjoy your car without worrying about a payment for a while. But that's pretty much it when it comes to getting an auto loan, guys. The main thing that you guys should remember this video is that there are always going to be certain things and tactics you guys can do if you guys really want to get a car. It's really not that hard to get a car. I really feel like anybody out there who has a pulse can get a car, as long as you guys are going about it correctly and very strategically. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. I hope you guys found value in any of this information as always. If you guys have bad credit because maybe you have derogatory items on your credit report like late payments, charge-offs, collections, bankruptcies, or whatever it is, and you've been working with somebody who couldn't get that off for you, send an email to my business email, justmoneyish@gmail.com, saying credit repair, because I have an amazing credit repair person that I personally work with that can definitely help a lot of you guys out there. And also really quick, if you guys are looking to get funding for your business, like anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000 plus in capital, so that way you guys can actually scale and grow your business, send an email to my business email saying funding, and I'll speak with you guys there. But if you guys made it to the end of the video, then I truly do appreciate you guys. We were at 76,000 subscribers at the time of this recording, so I do appreciate all who watch. I do post weekly videos for those that don't know, but if you guys haven't yet already, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't yet already, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that way you guys get notified every time Ish post a new video. And again, we talk about personal and business credit, real estate, and other financial related topics, so if that's something you're into, then you're probably going to want to consider subscribing. We talk about how to get high limits on your credit cards, how to boost your personal credit, how to obtain business credit. We talk about real estate, we talk about mortgage loan programs, we talk about all that, so this is your one-stop shop. And also really quick, for those out there that do not know, I am a licensed real estate agent and a licensed mortgage loan originator, so if you guys are looking to purchase or sell a home and you guys are in Southern California, all my information will always be in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.